All right, you guys, welcome back to our weekly live feed. If you are logging on Instagram, pop on over to YouTube or Facebook because we have screen shares and you can't see screen shares on Instagram. So check it out over on YouTube or Facebook. You'll get the best experience there. Welcome. As you are logging on, go ahead and comment into the comment section and let me know where you're coming in from. And as we are getting started here, a few things to note. First thing, let me give a quick shout out to our sponsors. First sponsor is Prozis. Welcome, Lexi. Welcome back. Prozis is one of our YouTube sponsors. They have everything you could possibly need as far as supplementation, clothing, training equipment, all of the things you need in order to optimize your health, your fitness, your entire journey. Check them out because they have some really cool macro-friendly foods, that kind of thing. I use all of them still in prep. I just actually had some of their protein chips today for lunch. So check them out. They've got chips, they got wraps, they've got the Kit Kat bars. The Kit Kat bars are my favorite. So check them out. When you use the code Cuties10, you do get additional savings as well. Scan on the QR code or the discount, the link. Link is in the description box. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. So there's our first sponsor for tonight. And our second sponsor is Sun Rayz. Sun Rayz is also a sponsor of our YouTube channel. So go give them some love, show them some love. I know a lot of you guys are in prep right now, getting ready to get on stage. Need your stage tan, need your makeup, need your skin prep, all of that. Right here is Sun Rayz. Scan the QR code. Again, their link is also in the description box below. And the discount code for them is Cuties15. So you got everything. You got the hookups just by being here, right? Now, before we get into tonight's wrap-ups and previews, and welcome everybody. I'm loving everybody chiming in here. It's fantastic. We got people from all over the place. We got Canada. We got a Canadian show this weekend to talk about. We got Vancouver. So we have the Sizzling Summer Suit Sale right here. Sizzling Summer Suit Sale. Scan that QR code right there to get yourself into the opt-in list. Now, the opt-in list does not mean that you're buying anything or anything like that. What that is it gets you onto the list for when we actually open up the Sizzling Summer Suit Sale. So I'm going to share what that page looks like right now. I think my screen share thing button isn't working. There we go. Here we go. So that's what this looks like right here. Okay, this is one of our two biggest sales of the year. And all you got to do is click on this right here in order to get your email address in there to get on the list. That's just to get on the list that when we open up, you have first dibs on this because we only do a limited amount of packages on this sale. It is one of our two biggest sales of the year. And after this year, we're not doing this sale anymore. This is the last time that we are doing this Sizzling Summer Suit Sale. So I know several of you ladies that are here on this live feed now purchase every year when you come in on the Sizzling Summer Suit Sale. So if you need to re-up, now is your time to do that. So make sure you get on that. Again, all you need is your email address. There's no obligation to buy. That just gets you in on the list so that when we open up, you have first crack at it. So do that. Do that right there too. All right, there we go. Let's see. We got some live people. We got Washington. We got California. We've got, like I said, Canada. We have North Carolina. We have Florida. All over the place. Awesome. What is up? What is up? Okay, so we've been kind of vamping for a few minutes. Again, if you are on our Instagram channel, then it's better to go onto our YouTube channel because we're going to screen share tonight. And we are going to wrap up Orlando. We are not going to wrap up Big Man because we don't have any photos from Big Man. So I just want to give Evie Eskandar a shout out because she did actually win that show. So she's now Olympia qualified. I believe she may be one of the only competitors from Europe that is like never lost a European show. We talked about that last week because Valeria is also on that kind of trajectory, but she did not win this show. Actually, I think she was bottom of the top 5. If she even got into the top 5, we're going to open up in a minute because we're going to talk about the next European shows coming weekend as well. But before we do that, we are going to really quickly review Orlando because let me make sure I got the right the right one up because it was a small show. It was very competitive for the numbers, but it was a small show. And we talked about the reasoning for that. The reason why I think it was a small show in comparison to most is because most of us were in Jersey. I got something in my eye. We're in Jersey for Team Universe. So still in Jersey. I got out of Jersey on Saturday. As soon as the girls were over, we got done with our Behind the Bikini podcast, which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen that, we did launch a Behind the Bikini on Sunday, and it was interviews of 4 of the ladies that had competed that weekend at Universe. So go check that out because they all have a very unique perspective to the sport. So take a look at that. I think you can probably learn a few things from those ladies as well. So we're going to go into this. Rihanna did win this show. It came down to a showdown really between her and Jazzy. And it was actually really cool to see this because their physiques are just so different. So it really came down to conditioning more than anything else. I'm glad you liked that, Aurelia. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to be able to talk to the ladies, and they had just gotten off stage the day before, so it was really fresh and everything too. So it was cool to get their perspectives and what they're planning on doing in the future and all that kind of stuff too, and just some of the things that they've gone through to get to stage. So yeah, go check it out if you haven't already. So this was a very, very tight show between Rihanna and Jasmine. And again, what it came down to more than anything was conditioning. I did see that Jasmine posted that her feedback was that she was a little bit too tight, specifically in the midsection. We're going to go through their photos. So they said that she looked almost striated in her midsection. And then with Rihanna, I talked to her today, and she said that they loved how full she was in her conditioning. They felt like they would like to see her just a little bit tighter. So her next show that she's going into, she's planning on coming in a little bit tighter. We're going to go into that a little bit more when we get to the top 2, but we're going to talk about the whole top 5. So let's pull up the whole top 5 first. First off, we have Christy. So Christy came in 5th. She has been in like top 5s, or I don't think she's, maybe not top 5. She's been the first call out before. Did she do top 5 last year? She did. She made it into a top 5 last year. Okay. So she has been in top 5s before. Now, the first thing that I'll say when we're talking about these photos, because I know the photographer at this particular show, because I also did Dallas, and it's the same lighting, same photographer and everything, it makes everybody look a little bit thicker than they actually are. So I just know that from seeing the photos from these shows before. So with that, I think she's got some really good balance here, but I think where she needs to work on her shape is she looks a little bit thick through the midsection, a little bit thick through the legs, that kind of thing. But again, not over the top. Again, I want to emphasize that I know that the lighting here is going to make these girls look a little bit thicker than they actually are. She's got a good amount of muscle here. She's got a good shape. This whole look is very pretty and everything too. But I think she probably needs to work on trying to pull that waistline in a little bit tighter, maybe downsize the obliques a little bit. Just to kind of give her more of that V taper and kind of bring that lower body in just a little bit tighter. Overall, I think this is a great front pose. I don't think there's anything really wrong with it at all. And again, beautiful glam and makeup and everything too. I think the look itself is very, very pretty. Let's take a look at her back shot. And some of these ladies didn't have full-on, fully posed poses. So we're going to do our best as far as trying to get fully posed poses up. I'm going to bring up see, she doesn't have a back shot here. I thought I saw a back shot when I was looking through it earlier. Maybe I missed it. No, she's not fully posed. So we'll pull up the comparisons. We'll pull up that because she was in the top 2 comparisons. So we'll pull up the comparisons, take a look at her back shot. Actually, let's do that right now since we got it right here. So this is her. If we got a back shot here. Here's a back shot. Okay. So here's a good back shot of the top, 5th through 3rd right here. She's in the center. And looking at her, I would say she just needs to be she needs to bring her lower half in a little bit more. Right. So again, when I was saying from the front, you can see it from the back too. It's just a touch too soft. She just needs to come a little bit tighter. She's got some good projection here. All of that. I think overall her shape looks very good. I think she just needs to be a little bit tighter on the lower half. I think her upper half's fine. I think she's got really good V taper here. And she probably needs to work on her mobility a little bit on this arm. This arm looks like it's poking out a little. So just to get her even from the back. But again, hair looks very good. Overall look is very good. So next we are going to go on to Masa. So Masa was fourth. Which by the initial call outs and comparisons, she actually looked like she was going to land in the third place position, but she ended up in fourth. And I think that was the right call. She's, I actually kind of like her balance here in this front pose. Like you can kind of tell here what I was talking about, Christy. Masa's waistline's a bit tighter. However, she's very, very profile on this pose. We've talked about this before with her front pose. I would like to see her come a little bit more straight on to the, or not straight on to the judges, but open up more to the judges, because I think that would just accentuate her shape a little bit better. What I'm looking at here is I'm just looking at way too side profile. I just want to see this toe open up a little bit so we can see a little bit more shape to her. I know she's probably trying to show her glutes and her hamstring and everything here, but it's actually closing her off quite a bit. She's got very long legs. So I feel like if she opened up a little bit, that would actually make her balance a little bit better from the front. I think from the front, her conditioning is pretty good. I did see her post that they say it said that she was too tight from the back, which I do agree with. Once we pull up her back shot, you're going to see that. Oh, I thought I clicked on it. Hold on. I didn't open it up. Hold on one second. I thought I opened it up. There we go. Okay, so here's her back shot here. So they told her feedback was that she was too tight, which I agree with. She's got really, really hard V drops into her hamstrings here. This is very, very, very tight through here. Also not a big fan of the suit cut being up so high. Actually makes her glutes look a little bit shallow up on top. And I think she needs to open up her upper half. You know, just like I was talking about in the front pose, she's very tall. She's got long legs, so she needs to open up more to create more shape. So this particular pose, she does need to open up. We don't see any delts. We don't see any width in her upper body. All we see is glutes here. So, you know, one of my critiques for Masa in the last couple of shows where I've seen video is that her glutes, even though she's very tight from the back, they still shake. I don't know if this is the case here because I didn't see good video of her. So I don't know if she actually shook through the glutes like she has in the past. But this is clearly very, very tight through the hamstring. So she does need to soften this up. Now, the issue with that is if she softens up a little bit, is that going to make her glute shake? You know, so we'll have to wait and see. She is competing this weekend as well. So we're going to see what she's able to do. But I would say the biggest thing she needs to do is figure out how to maximize this upper body too. Because again, she's got great glutes, but she needs to open up that upper body to give her a little bit more shape, a little bit more balance from top to bottom. Then we have Raquel, and I believe I've seen her before. That was last year. So yeah, she's yeah, I've seen her in a few shows. I didn't realize who she was when we were previewing this, so I didn't talk about her in our preview, but I have actually seen her before. She is masters. She's at least 35 because she just did the St. Pete Pro, did the 35 and over and won that one. Don't know what her age is. She's at least 35 though. So she's somewhere between 35 and 40. I was trying to find a good one where she's not. She's got her eyes closed in this one. That's okay. So where I think she beat Masa, to be honest with you, is in her conditioning because she's a little bit fuller. She's still very much in shape, and she actually has a similar shape to Masa's as far as she has longer legs and a shorter upper body. But she's just rounder and she's fuller. And you can see, too, she's got her pose opened up quite a bit more than Masa. See what I'm talking about with the foot here and opening up that pose and how that just gives her a lot more shape. Just gives her a lot more shape by doing that. So I think that's where she beat Masa out in the front pose. Let's find a back shot. Here's a back shot. So again, I feel like looking at her, she has a very similar structure to what we just saw from Masa as far as her lower body being longer legs, you know, that kind of thing, and actually smaller up on top. But you can see she's posing this better. I feel like she's not fully in this pose. I feel like she might push a little bit more. But she's actually posing this back pose quite a bit better than Masa was. So she doesn't look like she's bottom heavy, whereas Masa looked like she was very bottom heavy and didn't have any delts, didn't have any width through that upper body. Raquel here does. So again, it's just a simple posing little tweak like that can make a difference. So I do think that's probably the fullness and just the overall balance and posing is probably where she beat Masa in this particular show. Let's take a look at that comparison shot again real quick, because they were next to each other in this top three. So let's look at back shot. Yeah, this has her fully posed in her back shot. So let's look at that real quick. So when you look at this back shot here, you can see like she's just got more shape. She's kind of turning in a little bit towards the judges. She didn't necessarily need to do that here for this particular stage, but that's what she was trying to do here. She's just got more fullness. She's not as hard through that hamstring tie-in, and she's a little bit more open. So it's not a big change, but it just makes her shape look a little bit better than Masa's. And again, we're looking at that open body, right? So she's opened up here versus Masa being very closed off. And again, Christy's even opened up over here too. So that makes a big difference. Let's see if they go to the front. Yep. So, in general, I actually think that Masa probably has a little bit of an edge on her as far as shape and things like that are concerned. But Masa's conditioning is clearly a lot harder. You can see she's grainier, all of that. And Raquel is a lot fuller. Raquel is just opening up her pose a little bit more than Masa is. I think if Masa changes her posing just a little bit and bumps up that conditioning, she'll be right there. So she can do that in this next show. And we just talked about Raquel. So now we're on to Jazzy. So Jasmine hasn't been on stage since November. Was that when the Atlantic States was? And let's see if she has a fully front posed pose. Okay, here we go. So here we go. In general, I think this was a really good look for Jasmine. However, I think this pose needs a little bit of a tweak. She is opened up, which is good. That's what we want. But I think her upper body is too open. I think she needs to close that upper body off a little bit. We're seeing a lot of width up here, and it really actually makes her look like she's upper body dominant. Plus, she's kind of pulling back a little bit. She needs to stand up tall and just stand up tall and just undo that pose a little bit. That would make her look a whole lot better balanced in the front. She's got that teeny tiny little waistline. I know she's trying to accentuate that with that V right here, but they really don't want to see you wide like this. We talked about this before. They want more of an S curve versus the X. This is more X versus S. So that's what I would change on the front pose here. And then on the back, is she fully posed here? Yeah, she's fully posed. Back pose conditioning to me looks pretty good. That's one thing that Jasmine's always had an issue with, is coming in tight enough from the back. This conditioning looks pretty good right here. It doesn't look overly conditioned and doesn't look like she's too soft either. I would probably adjust the hand placement a little bit because we can see the hands. So I'd bring them down and kind of straighten them a little bit. And then one of the areas where I feel like Jasmine really could improve, and she actually has improved a little bit here since last year, is her upper outer glute pop. So I think if she can get a little bit more upper outer glute pop, that would really, really help here. But I think if she can just relax the arms down a little, that would probably put that pose in a better spot right there. And then we're on to Rihanna, who did win this. Now, Rihanna does not have a fully posed back shot. I already looked, so we will pull up the comparison shots for that. Rihanna has a more petite frame when it comes to her versus like other bikini athletes. She's just smaller in stature, so she has to get really full. And she mentioned that one of the things that was stressful for her for this show is that they really, really pushed the fullness here. They really pushed the fullness. But I think it came out beautiful. I think that they really maximized the amount of muscle that she has on her frame. She has a great proportion from top to bottom. We don't see any striations anywhere. We just see soft lines. You can tell she's in shape, but nothing is overly conditioned. Nothing is over the line. And if you guys have noticed that they are really kind of putting a huge emphasis on that this year, they don't want to see any conditioning that's over the line. When we start seeing conditioning over the line, you start getting penalized. So she did tell me that her feedback was to come in a touch tighter, but not to go to an extreme. So she plans on doing that. They told her not to get crazy about it at all, just a little bit tighter, and then just bring that look to the Olympia, basically. I think this is one of the best Rihannas we've seen, honestly. I like the fullness. I love the full look in general in Bikini. I love the full look in general. And, one of the things that she sometimes has an issue with is kind of balance as far as her upper and her lower body balance. And this is really balanced to me. It looks very, very balanced to me. I wouldn't really change anything about that front pose. Now, again, we don't have a fully posed back shot, so we're going to go to the comparisons in order to be able to see that. So let's take a look at a back shot between the two of them. Now, I love this comparison between Rihanna and Jasmine because their physiques are just so different. They're so differently structured. And just to see that the two of them end up in the top two is actually really, really cool, because you can see how, just having completely different structures doesn't matter, right? As long as you bring your body in at the best of its ability, that's what matters, right? So we look at the back shot here, and you see that Jasmine has the longer hamstring tie-ins, glute insertions, and Rihanna has the shorter ones. Rihanna has that upper outer glute pop. I was just talking about with Jasmine that Jasmine needs to get more of that upper outer glute pop. Rihanna has it, right? Rihanna has small glutes in comparison, but their projection out this way, their 3D pop out this way is phenomenal. And you can see her hamstring tie-ins are just slightly softer than Jasmine's. And again, when we're talking about what their feedback was, Jasmine was told that her conditioning was a little bit too much. Rihanna was told that her conditioning needed to come up a little bit. So we're literally looking at two different physiques, two completely different structures brought into their max. And one of them just went over the line a little bit one way, one of them's a little over the line the other way, and they went with a softer look. So I like that direction. I think that's a good direction for Bikini. That is the direction I would go as well. We don't want to start, going too over the line with conditioning, because then it just gets pushed further and further and further. So I think this was the right call here. Let's see if we can find I think they do have a shot right next to each other in the front poses. There we go, front pose. So again, looking at this front pose, where my eye goes immediately is to the fact that I feel like Jasmine is leaning backwards, right? I feel like she's pulling back. Stand up tall and relax a little bit. That's going to balance you quite a bit. Rihanna looks like she's just standing there, right? She just looks like that's her stage. She's just standing there. And that makes a big difference. Right? I don't like to say a whole lot about their tans and color and stuff when we're talking about these pictures for this particular circuit of shows, because the photography always photographs people a little bit orangey. But from what I can see here, Rihanna's tan looks a little bit better. I could be wrong on that. I don't really know, because it's just that's just how the lighting is and how this particular, like I said, circuit of shows ends up being. But I think in general, I think the tan on Rihanna looks a little bit better. But I mean, they're very comparable. The difference, and this is where I wasn't sure how this show was going to shake out, because I knew when it came down to it, it was going to come down to conditioning as far as who was going to win and who was going to come in second. And they clearly went with the fuller look. And I agree. When you're looking at the standard of Bikini in general, they want full. They want full and round. Okay. So I like that they took two completely different Bikini structures and put them next to each other. And then the one that was slightly less conditioned is the one that won. Now, again, Rihanna's not out of shape. She's just super busting full. She's very much in shape, but she's as full as she can get. That's the direction that I think is great for Bikini. So I thought this was a very good top two. Very good top five in general. And then I like how it played out. So that was Orlando. Again, I'm not going to review Big Man because we don't have photos from it, but Evie did win it. So we're going to go into previewing this weekend's shows. Let's go to... Go ahead and type in which one you want to see. I'm going to start with Vancouver because that one's an easy one. But then we also have Atlanta. We have whatever the one is in Europe. I can't remember the name of it. I'll know it when I pull it up. And then Republic of Texas as well. So I'm going to start with Vancouver because that's a really easy one. Okay. I have her highlighted. Ashley. I mean, it just kind of is what it is, right? So Ashley Kaltwasser is kind of the only one on this list that pops out to me now. I'm not a huge, I don't pay attention to Canadians. I don't pay attention to Austria, Germany, or whatever. So these other girls, who knows? Maybe one of these is going to be great. I don't know. They could come in and they could be Ashley, right? But I mean, it's Ashley. Ashley won this show last year. Vancouver is a hell of a show to try to get to. So I'm sure girls were looking at that and saying, well, I'm not going to spend all this time and money to go up to Vancouver and just get my ass handed to me by Ashley. So I did pull up Ashley. We all know who she is, right? So I think that's pretty clear. She's probably gonna be. Oh, you're going up to Vancouver. Okay, awesome. So that was the next thing. The next thing that I was going to pull up was Andrea. So I want to give Andrea a big shout out because she's one of our Pro Performer Promise winners. She's competing in fitness. So I do have her up here as well. We don't really cover fitness. It's actually very hard to preview fitness because you got the physique round and then you got the routine round. So the routine round makes a huge difference over the physique. Like we talked about, if you watch Behind the Bikini, we talked to oh my God. I keep saying Taco in my head because that's her Instagram name, Tatiana. Tatiana just won the universe. I just wanted to say Taco. She just won universe overall for fitness, and she won her Pro Performer Promise sponsorship with me too. So it's like a whole family affair, basically, right here, because Andrea is the one that brought her into the fold here with the cuties. So Andrea is going to go up there and hopefully kill it and get that Olympia qualification. That's what we're looking for here. So yeah, fitness athletes are definitely on a totally different level. So kudos. There's a reason why these shows are few and far between. There's less athletes. It's because it's really fucking hard to do. Really fucking hard to do. So so give her a big shout out, a big good luck for that one right there. So that'll be a fun one to watch for her. But yeah, like I said, when we're talking about the actual bikini lineup, I mean, it's Ashley, is what it is. So anybody want to throw their hat in as far as which one we're going to review next or preview next? I'll go ahead and pull up the European one next, which is what the Euro muscle. Yeah, Euro muscle. So here we go. So I did pull up the score sheet here for the one the show that we just had. Which one was it? The Mr. Evolution. They all have these Mr. Evolution, Mr. Big Man, all these random names for their shows over in Europe. But I wanted to kind of post up here because we got Evie that came in first, and then we're going to preview a few of these girls. So first was Evie, second was Inez, third was Christina, fourth was Francesca Stocchio, and fifth was Allison Testu. So yeah, so Valeria didn't even make it into the top five here. I think Valeria was sixth, I think. Where is she at? Valeria, where is it? I'm losing my place with the numbers. There's too many European girls. Yeah. No, she didn't even make sixth. Valeria was seventh. Okay. She was seventh here. Okay. Now I can't say why because I didn't see pictures. So is what it is. But I pulled up the names for this coming weekend. Again, I'm sure there's some on here that we don't really know yet, but there's some of these ones that we're getting more familiar with because they are competing more. So I wanted to kind of bring them up and show you. So we've got Christina. Christina, again, she's been placed in top 3, top 5 all year already. So it's just a matter of her trying to get that ticket punched. We've talked about her before. We don't have pictures from this last show, but she did compete this past weekend too. So she's one to be watching. Valeria, obviously, she's been competing a lot this year. I don't know what she looked like at her last show because we don't have photos yet. So we just have to wait for those to come out. Brittany Hamilton is going over there. Now, this is an interesting one because it used to be a few years ago that if an American competitor who's been placing top 5 goes over to Europe and goes into a European show, they are automatically the favorite to win, right? So I know a lot of people are favoring Brittany in this particular one, but anything could happen here. We've talked about this before. These European shows are getting very, very deep, and the competition is getting very, very hard. They're coming over here from Europe to the US, and they're placing well. You know, that the criteria is shifting in Europe to be more like the US. So it's not a guaranteed win going over there anymore. So with that, she's still in the running here, though. She's still very much in the running, and for a lot of people, she is the favorite going into this show. And then we have Tatiana, who has not been doing great this year. She only did the one show. I thought she did more. Maybe she did this past weekend. I don't know. This was the last time she was on stage, though. We didn't talk about her because she was outside the top 5. She is a previous Olympian, but you can see just from looking at this photo, she's pretty top heavy here. And even when you turn her to the back and stuff like that too, she is still very top heavy when it comes to her physique. So she's got to be careful with that. That's probably pretty easily fixed through some posing tweaks. She looks pretty full here, and I actually really like her hair and her suit here. Tan looks a little bit off, but other than that, she looks pretty good in comparison to what she's brought to the stage a few times this last year. She tends to come in a little bit over conditioned, so this is a lot better actually. And then we have Ruki, who has been doing well too. She's been getting those top 2s, top 3s, that kind of thing, top 2s. So she could definitely be a front runner here. 100% could be a front runner in this particular show. And then we have Francesca, who we've talked about her several times. She is a previous Olympian, but she's very wide up in her upper body, and that kind of diminishes her lower body. She needs more glutes. So this past weekend, she took, what did she take at Big Man? They don't have the Big Man scores on there. So she took 5th, 4th. Where is she? Yeah, 4th. So she's still in the running, but she's getting those bottom of the top 5 placings. So we'll see. I mean, going into this, I would probably have Ruki and Brittany as your front runners for this particular show. They have the highest placing track record. And I don't see, did I miss anybody in here? I'll give it a minute if anybody sees somebody that I missed, but I don't think I missed anybody that's been a top competitor. But these European girls are no joke anymore, you guys. And these shows are big. And you can see it. It's much bigger than some of the shows here in the States, right? So we can't sleep on these European girls anymore. Can't sleep on them. Just don't know. Let's go to... We did Andrea. We did... Let's do... Atlanta. So first things first, since I already had her up, we haven't really been previewing wellness much because we just haven't had time to be perfectly honest. But I want to give my girl Christina a shout out. She won her pro card last year at Junior USA, and this is her pro debut coming into it. She looks phenomenal. I'm really excited to see her up on stage. If you guys have been on my Instagram, you've seen her in her new suit. She's put on quite a bit of size in the last year. She just looks really, really good. So I'm excited to see how she fares in this particular show. So I want to give her a shout out for her pro debut. And yeah, so show her some love. Show her some love. So that's wellness. It's pretty deep lineup here for wellness, which is pretty cool. These wellness lineups are getting pretty big. And like I said, if we had more time to do these live feeds, I would go into wellness some more. And let me know if you guys are more interested in wellness. We really haven't done a whole lot of wellness this year. So, go ahead, type into the comments. Tell me if you want me to do more wellness, right? Do you want me to do more wellness? We've kind of gotten onto this bikini trend because everybody's engaged in bikini here. So if you want me to continue and maybe do a second live and do wellness, let me know, okay? Where is Bikini? Okay, here's Bikini. So Here's your list for Bikini for this weekend. Again, this is a pretty decent sized show. We've got masters here too, though. So remember, some of these ladies that you see here on the list here for open are also masters competitors. So that's something to keep in mind here. But I pulled up some of the girls that we should be paying attention to. So obviously we got to look at Masa. We just talked about her. She's definitely one to be in the running here for the front runner. If she comes in a little bit softer, fixes some posing things, she could 100% take the title here. We've got Tamikia coming back. So Tamikia has not been on stage since the Arnold UK. So it's been a little bit. Or I'm sorry, no, I take that back. This is Charlotte. I take that back. Charlotte was since then. So she's been on stage since Charlotte. So she is definitely one to be paying attention to. She had a little bit of issue with her conditioning so far this year, but she's been off stage for a couple of months now. So this could be something that she could have fixed in the last few months. We've got Jasmine, who just placed second. So clearly she's going to be a front runner here going into the show as well. Then we have Lizzie, who just placed fifth in Indiana. So again, another top fiver to be paying attention to for sure. And I brought up Angela because she's another one of our sponsored athletes. So I wanted to give her a little quick shout out. She'll be doing open and masters here. I believe she's won like 25, 26 masters titles or something like that at this point. So definitely giving her a big shout out as one of our sponsored athletes here too. And again, I have Christina up too. So if I had to choose here, I think it's probably going to come down to Tamikia and Jasmine. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're going to probably be your top two. But as we've seen with Bikini, it can be anybody's day at any particular time. So, while on paper they look like they are the front runners, it really could be anyone here or anybody that I didn't mention as well. So there is that one. And last but not least, certainly not least, we have Republic of Texas. Okay, so this is your list for Republic of Texas. A lot of names on here not familiar with, but then we got some names coming back that have not competed in a while, which we're pretty excited to take a look at. So first one is Lana. So Lana has not been on stage since the Olympia 2022. She took the full year off last year. So I'm interested to see what she looks like now with that refreshed body, probably more size on her, all that kind of stuff. So I'm curious to see what she looks like when you take that much time off. Same thing that Jody Yunker did, you know what I mean? So this could be very, very good. We could see a really good, new, improved Lana. So I'm excited to see what she looks like. Then we have Jordan coming back out. Now she just did Dallas. She was a little bit too big, a little bit too hard in Dallas. We'll see how that fares for her here in Republic of Texas. Obviously, Texas is her backyard. So she's a hometown favorite, that kind of thing. Then we have Ashlyn coming back, who has not been on stage since the Olympia. So again, another one that we haven't seen for a while. She's had some time off. This is the Olympia this year, though, not 2022, 2023. So it's been a little bit. So she's clearly going to be somebody that's going to be a front runner going to the show. And then we have Raina, who just won a couple weeks ago here at World Classic. So I think if I was a betting woman, I would put it between Ashlyn and Raina, probably with Ashlyn being the front runner, considering her Olympia placing. But again, we haven't seen her on stage in a while, so we don't know. Her improvements could be very, very good. She could be the same. She could be worse. We don't know. We haven't seen her for quite a few months. So I'm curious to see what she looks like now. But I think it's going to come down to probably between her and Raina. I mean, Raina's already qualified. So at this point, this is a gimme for her. This is just have fun and get some feedback kind of situation for her. So I think we're going to see them as your top two. I'm excited to see what Lana looks like, and probably Jordan on the outside looking in of that top four, I would think, just based on what she's looked like her last couple of shows. She just is a little bit too muscular and conditioned. She brings the conditioning down. I think that would be helpful, but I think that she might be a little bit too big. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what she looks like and what kind of tweaks that she's made going into this show. So anybody else that I missed on this list, I think those are probably going to be your top four-ish right there. Maybe somebody jump in there, a newer pro that I'm not familiar with, that kind of thing. Caught at least part of the live. Yes, you caught part of the live. Absolutely. And as you guys know too, if you ever miss this, they do go back up so that you can watch them later too. Yeah, I mean, I would favor Ashlyn. Ashlyn would be the front runner going into this for sure. But like I said, we just haven't seen her on stage in a while, and Raina did just win a show, so we got to give them both some props. But Ashlyn did place in the top 10 at the Olympia, so that's a big deal too. So anything that you guys wanted to add, or anything that I missed, anyone that I missed, any names that I missed, anybody that you wanted to shout out or anything like that? It's going to be a very, very busy weekend with shows. Very, very busy weekend with shows. So I've got a bunch of clients. I'm going to do my best to try and stay like on top of everything. But I've been gone at Universe, so I've got to get caught up with everybody here. So it's been a crazy week just trying to get everybody caught up too. So there's that. But this is the heart of the season right now. From now until like the end of August is like deep season, right? This is where you're going to get your heavy hitters coming out, and these Olympia qualifications are going to be very, very difficult to get. Very, very difficult to get from between now and like second week of September, once we get to the cutoff. So it's going to get dicey. It's going to get dicey. We're going to see some people that are going to get knocked off that don't get qualified this year. We're going to see some people not get qualified this year. It's going to be interesting. So, but we got plenty of shows. Can't complain about the number of shows, right? So while I'm waiting to see if anybody has anything else they want to add, just like I mentioned, our Sizzling Summer Suit Sale right here, this QR code, it's also in the description box below. Scan that, get on the list for when we open for sales. We're not opening right now. We just got to get on the list. So put your email address in there. This is the last time that we are doing the Sizzling Summer Suit Sale. So if you want to get my suits and you want to get them at a steal at 75% off, this is the last time we're going to do this. So scan it right there. I'm sure you do that. Yeah, that's what I feel about with Jordan too. I think she looks incredible. I agree. She's got a very phenomenal look. She's got a phenomenal physique. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. But in general, she's just got a lot of muscle. And that's going to be really hard to combat that against some of these other girls that don't have that. Like you said, the muscle maturity. Absolutely. And that's why I say I think she's going to be on the outside looking in, on the bottom of the top 5-ish of this particular show. I don't see her really dropping outside of like the first call out, because she still does look that good. But once you get down to the nitty gritty of it, she's just very muscular. She's just very muscular. So I don't know exactly how you downsize from there. I don't know. Anything else you guys wanted to add? I'll give it just one more minute or so. I got all my cardio done already, so I'm proud of myself. Typically, I still have cardio to do once we finish up the live feed, but I got it all done. All right, guys. Well, with that, if you haven't watched it already, we did put up a Behind the Bikini on Sunday from for the ladies that competed at Universe, so go check that out. We'll be shooting another Behind the Bikini on Thursday, so be looking for that. And then we'll come back and we'll go through these wrap ups and stuff this next week too. It's busy. We've got Masters Nationals, not this weekend but next weekend. We got a Clash of the Titans, which is a local show the next week. We got Tampa, so if anybody's doing Tampa, I'm doing hair and makeup with Tampa. Book me, just saying. Clash of Titans 2 and Masters Nationals I'm full. So then Nashville Fit Show, so same thing, hair and makeup there. And then we've got North Americans and Masters World. And then we're into like my time to compete at that point. So I don't have any other shows really on my list until I figure out what I'm doing with that situation. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. It's going to come quick. It's going to come really, really fast. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night. I'm going to let y'all go, and we'll be back.